Awesome. Well, good afternoon or morning. Well, I guess it's morning to most of you. Uh, I think you all know me. I'm Chuck Vosberg from NextHome Gulf to Bay, along with my wife, Pat, your favorite realtors in Florida. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of our online efforts, and that involves landing pages, squeeze pages, click funnels, and a few other things. So we're just going to jump right in. But first, I think we need to talk about what the differences are in some of these vocabulary words, because a lot of people use these terms interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. So we'll start off with a landing page, and you already have landing pages, you just don't know it. It could be the home page to your website, or it could be a page that has some information on it, and I'll show you an example in a minute. A squeeze page is, personally, I don't like the name. It sounds kind of screwy, but that's a page that asks the person to do something, and there's some kind of an action that is required to go to the next step. And then a click funnel is an online version of a sales funnel, and that's where there are a series of steps that you're leading somebody through in order to get them to the desired outcome. So let's take a look at some of these things here. Okay, now this is a landing page. This is something that we all have in KV Core. And if we follow Chris's advice from last week, we have gone to GoDaddy or your favorite domain registrar and gotten the domain name for, in this case, it's 1611 Country Club Road, and pointed that to your KV Core page. So this is the page in our website. It's a landing page by virtue of it's giving information to people. We're not really necessarily asking them to do anything here, although there is that availability, and there should be on every page in your site, and a reason why they may contact you. But when somebody goes here, they're going here to get information. Now, a squeeze page, in its simplest of forms, is your contact page. It's asking people to do something. And usually a squeeze page will give some compelling reasons, but in its very simplest of forms, your contact page is indeed a squeeze page. I'm not going to really spend a whole ton of time here getting into a ton of detail. I want to give you kind of a high level overview of all this so that you can start getting some ideas. Now, people are not just going to give you their contact information, because nobody wants to get called by a salesperson. And if we just tell people, hey, contact me now, and that doesn't work. It definitely doesn't work at all anymore, because people are just getting bombarded with hundreds, if not thousands, of requests for them to give them their information, or to call them, or email, or do something. So that's kind of evolved over time into what we call lead magnets. Now, this is something that has value to the recipient. It's not where you just send them a PDF of the brochure or send them a PDF of an advertisement. This has to be something of value. And we'll talk a little bit later about specifically what sort of things you could send. But these things are usually downloadable, although sometimes it may be a free consultation. Like most of us know Liam Pierce, and he also does coaching and consulting. So in his case, it's a free consultation where he'll talk with you, and then, of course, hopefully you'll become a client. And it usually, but not always, requires them to give information in order to obtain whatever the benefit is. And that's the beauty of having it downloadable, because in a case like that, you can collect their name and email address and then send it directly to them. You can automate that so it all happens behind the scenes and you don't have to lift a finger. Likewise, if you're just trying to build trust and you're going to follow up later by asking for contact information, you can just simply have it downloadable and it can go to them instantly. Now, ClickFunnels is where we have a series of steps, and I'll show you an example in a second, where there are 4 points to it. there's awareness. That's where you explain whatever the offer is. They visit your page, they read about it, maybe they watch a video. Hopefully that generates some interest where they may read some more or click on a video to get more information. Then a decision is to be made. And usually that's the lead magnet portion of the funnel, where they would download the lead magnet, which of course would lead them to the real desired action, which is to make a purchase or to hire you. Those are my slides. Now we're going to get into some examples. All right, we're going to start off with a very simple one. Hopefully you've all seen our little page, refer to chuckandpat.com. And this is a simple landing page. It has all the components of a landing page. It starts off with a description. Here's the part where they can make a decision. If they want to get more information, they can click this and watch a short video. We have social proof, which is in the form of testimonials. Then more information to support what we've said before, because again, we're leading them through a process here. Even more information, and then finally a request for information. And I recommend keeping these requests as brief as possible. Now, in this case, we have to ask for the name of their brokerage and things, because at least here in our state, you can't give money to somebody for a referral unless they're a licensed agent. Now, as far as squeeze pages go, well, we've got this secondary page, Help for Agents and Brokers, which I'd encourage you to join because it's got tons of lead magnets. Every single one of these things is a lead magnet. I've got a little video about how to get your offers accepted, how to use Alexa in your listings where people can say, hey Alexa, tell me about this house, and it'll tell you all the features. A link to our YouTube channel, more free stuff, template for the window stickers that we make, all kinds of stuff. These are all lead magnets. And the reason why there are so many of them is because we post these things on the NextHome page. So it's a thing of value. It's not overtly salesy. It's just, hey, we're going to give you this thing. Here's where you go get it. And in this case, they don't have to give us any information to get the benefit, because this is only for NextHomies, and we generally already know the people. Now, if they do want to give us information, we give them a reason to do so, because obviously we want to be able to refer business to other people. So this is a basic template that you can follow for any kind of sales page. You could easily translate this very simple 2-page website into anything that you're trying to sell, or whether it be product or service. So let me show you one that's a little bit more complex. We've got this thing available in our state called Divvy, and it's a leaseback program where people will sign up for this. They buy the property, they lease it back for 3 years, then they can purchase the property. We chose this one because we think it's really great. So in this case, in order to get people to find out about this, we advertise to people who are renting. They can sign up, get a link to the webinar, and again, you're going to notice a very familiar pattern to this. So telling them very briefly what it is that they can learn about, because we need to gain their interest so they'll keep scrolling and get more information. So again, more information. Then we get into social proof in the form of some testimonials. And then finally, the call to action, which in this case is to click and save a spot. And in order to give some kind of urgency to it, we have it where this thing will automatically keep track of how many seats are left, because it's limited space only. And of course, how long it is until the webinar takes place. So are you seeing a little pattern emerging here? So you're probably wondering, okay, Chuck, well, that's fine and dandy. How are you putting all this stuff together? So that's where we get into the nuts and bolts of it, and there are a million different services out there. And the one I use is called Groove, and I'll give you a secret link at the end where you can get a free forever version of it that will probably suit your needs. And if you do outgrow it, you can always upgrade. But I chose to upgrade because I outgrew it on mine. But the beauty of it is, when you're making a new site, whether it's a single page or a complete website, or in this case, sales funnels, it gives you a ton of examples to start with. Now, the beauty of this is you don't have to start from scratch. Now, I already made a little example for us to take a look at here today. So this is just a standard 3-page ClickFunnels website. And I want to caution you as this is coming up, don't design your own website unless you have specialized training in designing and producing websites. There are a lot of things that people never think about. For example, this page has to work on a computer. It has to work on a notebook computer. It has to work on a tablet, and it also has to work on a phone. If it doesn't, then you're going to be missing out. So these are already designed. They're already formatted so that it automatically knows what kind of device it is. If you don't have all this specialized technical knowledge, you should not design your own thing. So you pick out a template, and you saw there were dozens and dozens and dozens of them. So I picked one out. Now, all you have to do is put your logo in, put your pictures in, change the colors to orange and white, just like we always do. Switch out the pictures, put in your testimonials, and you're done. It's really just that simple. And that's the thing I like about this particular system, is they've got all these templates. So this is the first page to the funnel. Want to download whatever it is? Maybe it's your guide to how to buy a house, or maybe your checklist for selling your house, or it can be a million things. We'll brainstorm about that. So they can do that right on the first page. But here's the upsell. If they do that, they've already made a decision that they're going to get something from you. So why not try and get $7 out of them? So it's like, hey, you're already getting this thing, pay $7 and you can get this too. This is a simple upsell. They don't have to get this, but a certain percentage of people will, because they've already made a decision to trust you enough to give you their contact information and download the stuff. Then tell them all about it, what the bonuses are, so that they'll give you the $7. And then finally, the last page of any funnel is the thank you page, your free lead magnet, whatever it is coming. And this gives you the end result, and then you can follow up with them however you see fit. So let me unshare my screen here so I can speak to you directly. All right. So I gave you the quickie overview real quick. So questions so far before I jump into the next part? Nobody has oh, Pat's got a question. She's rolling up.
All right. So let me, if it's okay with you, because I took notes, I want to do a recap before we jump, kind of so that everybody's hopefully on the same page here.
Great.
All right. What Chuck is explaining is something most realtors don't comprehend, because they don't have the business mindset that we've talked about in the past. Most realtors, and let's bring it into our world versus a sales world where you're selling a product, like the example that Chuck just showed, maybe a free giveaway and then the upsell to a different product for $7, etc. The benefit behind the landing page is you're trying to really target a specific audience and bring them into a conversion or a call to action. If you think about a standard real estate website, let's just take our KV Core website, or any website that you use for that matter. Websites by design are for exploration purposes. So think about that as a consumer, okay? You're on a website, you're exploring at that point. You're looking for shoes, you're looking for camping gear, you're looking for cars, whatever the case may be. You're not ready to make a decision at that point. But if it's something captures you on that website, and the website's purpose is to bring in a specific audience, there's more than likely, if it's done correctly, there'll be a hyperlink or something directing you to a very specific, very purposeful landing page to capture a specific audience. So if you can follow this workflow that Chuck's talking about, let's take our KV Core website starting point to a landing page, identifying a specific audience. Maybe it's a seller, maybe it's a buyer, maybe it's 55 and over, maybe it's first responders, whatever. Then it's very specific message, conversation about that audience. Hopefully you have metrics in the background to be able to track how many people are dropping into that landing page, etc. And then it's the multiple calls to action on one landing page, which is a scroll page. You're not going to have multiple menu options for people to jump around and explore. It's a very specific message to a very specific audience. You look at Chuck's example of the referrals for the agents that they have in place. It's very specific. It's about referrals and it's for agents. A consumer finding that page, probably highly unlikely, because Chuck's not promoting that to consumer. But if they stumbled across it, they'd have zero interest in that page and they would be bounced out, or they would bounce themselves out. From there, you've got the squeeze pages, i.e. contact information, with the what do I get in return for what I give you? If I give Chuck my information, what am I getting back? Am I getting a free 30-minute consultation? Am I getting a free ebook? Am I subscribing to his newsletter? Am I subscribing to free home evaluation? Whatever it is that you have in place, that's your giveaway. That's your in return for your information. I want this. And I think this is where a lot of the realtors don't understand that workflow, and or they don't have the time or want to put in the time to put that together, which is a landing page specifically for a specific audience with a specific message. So again, process this in a way that websites are for exploration purposes, tons of information, tons of options for a consumer to search. They're all over the place. There's no real direct pattern, message, etc. It's very, very broad, where a landing page is very laser focused. It's like you're a sniper, where a website, you're shooting a shotgun. Pellets everywhere, stuff everywhere, content, content, content. Landing page has to be very precise, very direct, very, very specific. So Chuck, am I on point with this, or did I miss something?
You're exactly right, sir.
Okay. So does everyone understand the difference between a standard website, I'm assuming you do, website, and why the landing page is so important? If you decide to use that workflow, creates conversion. I wrote some note down, increases conversions. This is landing pages now. Additional insights into what your target audience is. We talked about that, and Chuck talked about it. Grows your email subscriber if they provide you with information in return for whatever it is you're giving. I, for one, you could go online and Google ebooks, realtor ebooks for purchase or things of that nature. You'll get a lot of different things, but there are companies that have already created published ebooks. I've got, for example, I've got 4 ebooks that I've bought. They're like $2-3. You download them to your computer. Buying your first home, guide to financing a home, how to make your home sell and staging your home. 4 ebooks that I could use as a giveaway in return for your contact information. Like Chuck said, not everybody's going to want to do that, because now you're going to be, they got to click the little button that they agree to this and this and this. It's all the disclaimer stuff. A lot of people don't want to do that, even for an ebook, but you will capture some. That's why it's that click funnel that that Chuck was talking about. It's that sales funnel. You're not going to get everybody, but you are going to get some people. I have no issue giving someone my email if I really want the information, because I can always unsubscribe later if I decide I don't want to be part of whatever it is they're sending me in the future. So any questions about that, or to Chuck? Got the
Jeff,
workflow? Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, one of the things too that is really cool, I think, about the lead magnet or the squeeze pages is if you are offering something like you mentioned, the free ebook or what have you, you're going to get a valid email address because that's how you're delivering it. Versus there's a lot of
Right.
people that'll sign up on websites and you get Mickey Mouse at whatever.com and so you don't get good contact information. But by providing, by requesting that email address, your likelihood of getting a valid usable email address is good or higher than normal. And the other part of it too, it keeps you in compliance with the Can Spam Act too, because if they supply you with that information, then you have the ability to market to those folks via email without violating federal and some state laws. So yeah, I'm digging on this. I can't wait till the end. I'm ready for
I will tell you that, and I'm sure Chuck does this already or uses this in some fashion because he's a big BombBomb guy. If you're using BombBomb or any type of video content that you provide, there's your I don't want to use the word hook. I don't like that because it's too salesy, but there's your free value by providing information. BombBomb has this exact workflow set up. And you can go in there and plug and play a lot with BombBomb. And I've seen Chuck actually use this. I've used it in the past where once an email is provided, and they hit submit, automatic video gets dropped into their email, or it takes them to the next page. And there's your content. Maybe instead of providing an ebook, that's text and they got to read it. Maybe it's a video of some sort with valuable information that they can watch for 8 to 10 minutes, maybe no longer than that. Something short, quick, but very specific to the audience that's on the landing page, and very specific to obviously what you promise you're going to deliver to those who give you their information, as opposed to like in my case, 4 ebooks that are 100 plus pages. I don't know, many people are going to read a 100 plus page ebook, but I do have them if I choose to go that route. But I think the video content with really to the point value to that particular end user who gave you their information could be a valuable tool, because I've done that. To get this particular 5-minute video that nobody else is going to get unless they give their info. It's not out in the world to find. You only get it if the email's provided. I think that could be very, very valuable. And if you were to put 10 or 15 of those videos together about a variety of different things that are of value to your target audience on that landing page, you may have multiple landing pages, similar to what Chris talked about last week with multiple domains. He's got over 100 and some odd domain names. It might be a landing page like Chuck showed on a property. And then by providing their information, like Chuck's going to give a bonus at the end, right? Maybe that's the hook. Hate using that word, but that's the value you offer by them giving you your email, maybe something about that property or so. I'm just throwing ideas out there. That's kind of what this group is about brainstorming. But with video being so popular and moving forward into 2023, even more so, I think video could be a great value that you bring to that person who gives you their information.
That's right, Jeff. And I'll give you a few ideas. So one of the lead magnets that we use is indeed a BombBomb series where we offer people a free course that's going to be delivered one lesson every day that explains how the real estate transaction works here in Florida. Because a lot of the people that we get are outside of the state of Florida, and they're curious about how we do things here. So that's just.
And are those courses pre-recorded or are they live?
Yeah, it's a BombBomb automation. Yeah. So as soon as somebody signs up, it automatically sends them the first one. At the end of that video, it says, "Hey, check your email again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I'm going to send you another one." Yeah. And it just goes each day. It's all pre-scheduled. I never touch it. So it's something of value. Yeah. Another thing we use is a photography checklist, how to get your house ready for photos, how to get your house ready in general. That we've got another checklist for that. Jeff mentioned ebooks are great. There's a million things you can do. And it's really limitless, and you can very easily create these things. Chances are you already have them and just don't even realize it. Now, if you want
I think, I'm sorry, Chuck. I think Chuck
yeah,
does a great job with video. He probably does more video than anyone I know personally.
Pat does more.
Well, when I say Chuck and Pat, they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah,
If I say Pat,
one.
it's Chuck. They're
Mhm.
one. But Chuck and I have had offline conversations, and then all of a sudden I get an email with a bomb video saying thank you for meeting with me. I mean, there's something about that is way more personal, and most of you will probably agree. Maybe you don't like being on the camera, whatever, get over it, be who you are. But there's something way more personal. What Chuck just described is that course, that training, that educational piece. It's value, but what's more important than the value behind what Chuck and Pat are delivering is the connection the viewer is making with you before they even meet you. And that's the key to this industry. We are so in a hurry to go out and meet somebody in person, and yet they're meeting a complete stranger. But if you're out there on video every day, every week, whatever, they already kind of feel like they know you a little bit. I follow a guy in Dallas that's big YouTube guy. He even says when he meets his clients, which are always on Zoom for the very first time, they feel like they're meeting a celebrity. It's kind of interesting. I mean, because he's on YouTube every week, all day, all the time. And it's almost like they're excited. They've already almost made a decision to work with you. All they're doing now is just kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's and finalizing what it is that they need and what you provide. And let's put ink to paper. They're not interviewing 14 different realtors by this point. Video is the only thing that can do that. Text will not do that. Text in words, text message, it's not going to have the same personal connection. So just keep those things in mind as you go into next year. We've talked in depth about video over the last several weeks. So what Chuck's doing with these landing pages, these squeeze pages, these funnels, and adding video into it, I think is exactly the direction you need to think about going.
And I put a link in the chat for a free trial of BombBomb. If you're not using it, you're missing out. It's just that simple. I hate to sound like a salesman for them.
No, I agree. And I would highly, go ahead, Chuck, go ahead.
And, in the interest of fairness, if you use my little link and you eventually sign up, I think they give me a free month. So you can use my link, or you can just go straight to BombBomb.
Yeah, and make sure that you also, correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, you'll probably know better than I, but I think if you mention you're with NextHome, there is a small discount because of our relationship with them. And if you pay a whole year, it's cheaper as well.
Yes, considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
And I say commit to it. And, we could talk for an hour about, video and how to get over your
we'll do.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, trust me, we're going to be having some video conversations in our future calls into 2023. So go. Okay.
All right. So I promised to give you a little bit more insight into the system that we use for creating this stuff. And I'm going to share my screen again.
Do I keep recording here, Chuck, or no?
Yeah, you can keep. I'll let you know when it's
okay.
when the secret part comes up.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully y'all can see my screen. It's got a series of little thumbnails on here. And this thing, it's called Groove. And I've put a link in the chat, and I'll put it in again at the end, where you can get a free forever version of this. I don't remember what the limitations are on it, but it'll probably suit you for a very, very long time. But this is an all-in-one kind of system. So I showed you the pages and funnels, those kind of go together. You create them in here. There's a component in here if you have something to sell, where you can sell things online. Although I highly recommend using BombBomb for this. If you choose to, it's got a whole direct mail thing in here. you may be familiar with membership sites. That's anything that's an online course, or sometimes it's content that people update constantly and people pay a monthly fee to be on it. I'm sure you're familiar with some of those. You can actually store your own videos on here so that on your site they don't have to be served up by a YouTube link, which is kind of cheesy. It just shows up in the window and plays, and there's no YouTube stuff in there. Blog, which we don't use the shopping cart thing because we're not running a store here. And then you can also do your own webinars on here, not only live ones, but pre-recorded ones. I don't know if you've ever signed up for a webinar and they're like, oh, there just happens to be one starting in 5 minutes. And even though everybody knows it's fake, they try and make it like it's a real live thing. But you can host those on here too, even though I think they're cheesy. So it's an all-in-one kind of system. Now, I'm going to unshare my screen so I can talk with you direct. I got to tell you, there is a learning curve to this because it is unbelievably comprehensive. I mean, you can run multiple businesses off of that. In fact, we do. And it's there is a learning curve. There's tons of great videos for training, and there are people you can hire to do the stuff for you, of course. So I'm going to put that link, the Free for Life thing, in there.
Oh, change it.
What do you mean change it? Oh, hang
It's only
on.
going to one person.
Hang on here. Send it to everybody. Okay, so that's the Free for Life
There'll be a
program.
message there too.
Yeah, I read it. Nick has some information that he wants to give, and yeah, I'm going to be done pretty quick here, Nick. So there'll be plenty of time for you to,
Yeah,
to say what you've got to say.
yeah, so.
All right, so let's stop recording now. I'm going to give you the big bonus.
Oh, okay. All right,
And
hold on.
but this is a secret bonus. I don't want you to share it with people. And
Can you hear me, Chuck?
Yes.
Okay, hold on, so number one, if you have any questions, write them down. We'll have a Q&A here in just a few minutes. Let me stop recording for the reveal.